How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another random stream. We're just gonna finish up what we started this week with the show file. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another totally random live stream, unannounced, unexpected. But what you can expect today is content about live sound. Hi, if it's your first time on the channel, my name is Guillaume. I'm a live sound engineer that love to talk about sound console, microphone, or actually this one is a little crooked. Microphone, anything. And I love to interact with the chat. Of course. Hey, Bullier, if I can get my mouse going. Hey, man, how's it going? Nice to see you. Good to be back here on YouTube, on Twitch. We're streaming on both platforms. So, hi, everybody. Doesn't matter where you are welcome here, no matter the platform that you choose to listen to this questionable content at best. Welcome. Actually, to keep you guys up to date, this week I struggle a little bit with what's on here. Actually, the console is in the way, you guys cannot see this, but I have a Midas Hub 4 Pro with a DN4888 on top of it and a DL8 that actually I'm gonna plug in. And that's going to be what we're going to talk in the second part of this stream. The first thing I want to do is dive with you guys on the show file for a show that I'm going to do like literally in an hour from now. I'm going to leave my place in maximum an hour and a half. So that's the time we have to spend on this. I need to basically go do a gig. It's just another day at the office. Let's see if my cameras are working. Yes, they are. We're going to basically keep on building that show file, make sure that we have some stuff ready, and the more ready we could be, the better it's gonna be. Let's get something going. I've already done a little bit of EQ on my kick drum. I've already done a little bit on my snare. I know this drummer so well that I can almost set the gain in EQ. Is it gonna be perfect? No, but when you're dealing with the same instrument, literally the same snare and the same mic on it, every single gig, you kind of know these things. You kind of know your people, you kind of know how your vocalist going to sound in his microphone, because with my friend Simon, this is what we're going to do today. He always has the same microphone, or he had the same microphone for years, and he keep on using it. So we kind of know, I kind of know what to expect, and it's just a matter of knowing my people and knowing what's going on with them. So, hi Nick, my American friend. Happy 4th of July. Those of you who are American today, you kind of know it's gonna be a lot of drunks people, a lot of firework, and a lot of proud America. Let's go America. America. Rocking out the Metallica mug today. Hold on. I can, before we dive, rocking out the Metallica mug today. Yeah. That coffee always comes with an extra dose of yeah. Huge Metallica fan. Those of you who knows. Huge Metallica fan. Okay. My boss. Come on. Don't call me boss. I'm not here to boss anyone, man. I'm here to have fun with you guys. Favorite Metallica record? Funny story. Favorite Metallica record is, I don't know if that's gonna focus. That's Ride the Puppets for All. It's a meme. It's a mean gif with it's gonna be hard for you to see, but the hands of Master of Puppet on top, the chair, the Justice statue in the bottom. But definitely, if I have to pick one, I'm gonna pick Ride the Lightning. But Ride the Lightning, Puppets, Justice, now that I'm a sound engineer, is a little harder to swallow. Great song on it. Some of them were getting to the point where they should have been cut down a little bit, let's be honest. They're great, they did great, but some of the 7-minute song could have been 5-minute songs and they would have worked the same. So yeah, the first I love Kill 'Em All, I love the Black Album. Now that I'm getting older, I understand Load and Reload. It makes sense now that I'm growing up and I'm 35 or 38. But yeah, you oddly don't mind the production on Justice? Ooh. Now, to me, since I heard the version with bass on it, and I'm not talking about bass to EQ, I'm talking about bass to instrument. Since I heard a version remix with that, yeah, Rob the Bassist is probably going to agree with me. And Justice for All is probably better with bass on it. Will, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Guys, it's so fun to just popping up like that and do a random live stream. And you guys showing up. If you have any question while we're here, anything that has to do with the world of live sound, make sure to say so. Doesn't matter if you are from Nigeria, from Europe, from Metallica, anywhere. Hi. I'm Canadian. French Canadian, should I say. A little difference, but yeah. So if you guys have any question, feel free to leave those in the chat. We're here to interact with the chat. Of course, Jason got a Roddy. There's a reason under it, and funny enough, and I didn't want to talk about that at all today, but while we're at it, I understand nowadays, being in the world of live production, being in the world, dealing with bands on the road, dealing with people, I kind of more understand what happened there. The reason, they're not good reason, but I understand why some people are, some people interact with people in a different way when business is there. Some people, and I don't think, to be honest, I don't think it was a rib against Jason. Actually, it was more a rib on Jason than anything else. I don't think it was mean. I think they were just, oh, we're gonna release an album with no bass on it. But think about it, 25-year-old or 21 years old kid releasing their 4th album. They're doing great. They're having a good time. I don't think they expect that much, or I don't think they realize how people were expecting from that album, especially after Cliff passed away. It was about Lars' drum. Yes, it's not against Jason. I think Lars put his bass drum more forward, and he wanted to have, you know, he just pull a little bit on this hand, and that's it. It's that's all there is. It's not against Jason, is how I'm gonna put myself forward, and how Kirk Hammett is not in there, how, you know, those kind of things. Let's go back to live sound. I'm not here to criticize Metallica. They did what they did, and that album succeed apparently. So yeah, it's not Lulu. Moving on. Last night did a show outdoor, Dante, primary, secondary. We got rained on bad. Ooh, no, rain is a no-go. I'm really happy today because I'm going out. I'm going to do a show outside, and clear weather, 20 Celsius, 25 peak, nice, almost no wind, sun, a little bit of cloud, but you know, just enough so it's not gonna be full on sun. We're gonna have a great time, man. All right. So sad about your wetness, Nick. Explain more about daisy chain Okay, I'm gonna return the question back to you. Can you be a little bit more specific when you're talking about daisy chain? Are we talking about daisy chain on stage box, daisy chain on Dante? Are we talking about AS50 Dante? Can you be just a little bit more specific? And while you're doing that, you're type that down. I'm gonna try to answer Will's question. Will, so I'm still having the problem. I'm still having the problem of the Wing SD card playback being louder than the actual performance. Meaning when I do a virtual sound check, I need to have my master way down versus when the band is playing. This is something that I've experimented also, and so far I'm gonna need to address this to the dev because I don't know what's going on with that. I myself too seem to have a hard time where it's just way louder, way louder than it's when the band is playing. It should be the same thing. VU meter wise, it seems to be the same thing, but I don't know why. There's probably something happening in the code that give it more volume. But Will, can you confirm with me, and we probably can confirm that together, can you confirm with me that your VU meter seems to be hitting the same spot? Like when you set up a channel, when you have something going on your kick, when you alternate, it seemed to be the same level. I think I see VU wise the same level. I just don't understand why it's getting so loud when we're doing virtual sound check. And yeah, same problem for me. I don't get it. If anyone in the chat has any experience, I didn't see my great friends that are usually power user, the Rob of this world, the Patrick Gilmaillot of this world, which are really knowledgeable people when it comes to the background of these console. Patrick is really good at understanding all the communication stuff, all the, you know, basically this is a software, but the backbone of that software, if you understand it, you can answer to some stuff because you know how it works under the hood, basically. Those are usually the guy that hang around here. We also have Thomas, who's run the Facebook group, that is really a good, powerful user. We also have Peter that sometimes show up. If anybody in the chat is a power user, let me know. It will be fun to debate about that. Got rained at the shipyard gig last week. It cleared out. Okay. Oh yeah, man. Rain in a live show is like the worst thing that can happen. You set up, and at some point you just go like, oops, well, it's gonna rain on me. You're not alone, Will. You're not alone. We're all together in this kind of problem. Sorry, I don't know if my chat is working properly, but anyhow. Okay, let me revert that back to my snare. What I want to build today is what you guys probably know as my tips and tricks for enhanced live shows. I have a video where I covered this, so if I'm going too fast here, please refer to those videos. I'm gonna try to go step by step, but I want to build myself a custom layer here. I'm gonna use user 1, and we're gonna build some weirdo channel that I like to call almost triggers, but are not, to enhance my kick and my snare for a live show. So let's dive into that. Basically, for those of you who don't know that what I'm talking about, I'm using the oscillator of the Wing because the Wing has two different oscillator. Oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. And I manipulate those based on a trick that I've learned from Glenn Fricker many years ago. And he got that from the guy that makes the... What's the... I don't want to say the wrong album name here, but it's the Megadeth album. Is it Peace Cell? The blue one. hold on. I don't want to say anything wrong here. I don't think it's Peace Cell. Megadeth's album. It's the blue one with Rust in Peace. Rust in Peace. There you go. Rust in Peace. When they mix that down, what they did is they use and we're gonna go into source to build that. Oscillator one's gonna be used for our kick. And I can probably change that. Hold on. Oh, I don't need. Yeah, I use the oscillator to check out my stage connect stuff, and I probably don't need to do that, so we're just gonna get rid of it. Let's go back. Routing source. Okay, oscillator. They use a syn wave for the bass drum with the lowest note they could get on a keyboard, but for us, we're gonna cheat a little bit. We're gonna recreate the same thing. Basically, they recorded a keyboard track with the lowest note possible, and they use a side chain. They use a side chain on the kick drum, or they use a side chain of the kick drum on that channel where they have that really low note and can I send it to you guys? Is my master? Okay, no, it's not connected because I could send you the tone anyway. It's not going to be pleasant. But basically, they use a sidechain on that channel that has the lowest note possible of a keyboard to add low end or to fake low end on a bass drum. So basically what that does is when you hit the bass drum, it's going to open up a gate on the channel that has the tone. It's going to let a little bit of like 40-50 hertz go like boop and close it down. This is acting like a sub kick. This is what we're replicating here. Kind of acting like a sub kick where you just have a burst, like just a small amount of a wave that go boom and go out. And if you blend it in, just a little bit, it's going to sound like a massive bass drum. If you just put that by itself, it's going to sound more like, you know, the 808 bass drum style, that boom, boom, boom bass drum with no attack. But if you keep the attack of the real drum and you blend in that low end, you can create something that is really, really fat. So we're gonna go here. We're gonna put that on a channel and we're gonna name that sub kick for us to know what this is. This is a tone. We're gonna use actually, I think the drummer is best suited for that. We're gonna use the drummer. We're gonna keep it from bypass. And the key thing to remember is to use a key source. And we're gonna use our bass drum. So basically, every time that the bass drum will be more powerful, we'll send signal over 26 dB or 25 dB. That gate's gonna open up and it's gonna let a burst, just like a burp, of 45 or 60 hertz, depending on where I'm gonna end up setting the oscillator. And I'm gonna use that to beef up my kick drum. After that, hold on. We're gonna do the same thing for the snare. But the snare, if we only have a note on a snare, this is not how really a snare is replicated. What they did on Peace Cell is they use an oscillator with a white noise, and maybe -6 is a little high. Probably gonna run that around -18. They use a white noise, a big, and they're doing the same thing. But on this one, they are adding a reverb. If you take a snare, think about a snare sound. What you hear is the chain, the snares, under that shell vibrating, and they kind of sound like a white noise. If you don't hear the hit at first, it just goes. So this is what we're faking here. We're gonna use a gate we're gonna use a really hard gate, and on that gate we're gonna add or on that channel with the gate, one step at a time. I'm going ahead of myself here. Gate, I'm gonna use this one here. Yeah, long release. Minus 18. We're dropping that down. But I don't want the source for that gate to be itself. I want the source of that gate to be the snare. So every time that I'm gonna get a snare, my gate here is gonna open up. EQ, yeah, probably not. Compression, definitely not, because we don't need to have any kind of compression. But where we're gonna have fun is with the insert. We're gonna insert here a reverb. We could even use a gated verb, but actually, you know what? Let's try it just for fun. I'm gonna use a gated verb. This is gonna give me like a small amount of reverb, because otherwise it would just go like. If I put a reverb on it, it's gonna give it a tail. So we're gonna have the white noise beat into reverb. It's just gonna slow down. And if we make the reverb short enough, or at the same, you know, almost the same time that our real snare are long, because when you hit a drum, they shake, and eventually, because they are tension under the drum, they're just gonna die. If we kind of fake that with like 0.31 second here, low cut, we can definitely low cut that. We don't need a lot of low end information in that. Like, I could even go higher than 400. We're gonna create basically the same thing as we're gonna create the same thing that a bottom snare mic will sound like, and this is gonna be consistent no matter how hard the person is gonna hit the drum. The top mic that we're gonna use for picking up the snare, probably SM57 or a Behringer Dynamic. Actually, right now I'm using the Behringer Dynamic 420. For those of you who don't know, it's a smaller version of the 201. Really, really cool mic. We're going to use that as a snare top, and it's going to trigger that channel to open and give us some burst of white noise in a reverb that's kind of going to fake a snare bottom mic. It's going to be really, really close to a snare bottom mic. But the thing is, it will sound as good of a snare bottom mic, but I won't have any bleed from the kick drum, because every time that you put a snare bottom mic next to a bass drum, it wants to pick up the sound that is next to it, because think about it, where the snare bottom is, it's next to the beater of the drum. So basically, we're creating the cleanest snare bottom possible, and I make it stereo because we're using a stereo reverb. It's gonna sound wider. It's gonna make your snare sound more stereo, like it has a stereo reverb on it, but it's even a little bit more wider. I don't know how to process that, but we're just gonna use the white noise just to give us some burst into reverb, and then we're gonna blend it with the real snare. It has to be subtle. If you put too much, it's gonna sound like garbage, but I encourage you guys to try that in your DAW at home, or if you have a wing like me and you want to play back a show file. And we're gonna get back to your comments, Will. You can have really interesting results with that thing. So this is what we're building right now. I'm gonna name that fake bottom. It's gonna be my fake snare bottom. Will, can you have an oscillator channel in stereo? The channel is gonna be stereo. The oscillator are mono, but you can make it stereo if you really want to. You can, let me go into routing. You can make the two oscillator being stereo. So if you want to have two different white noise to really get stereo white noise or pink noise to do this, you could. I prefer to have a mono oscillator because I don't really need more than a mono oscillator for sub, and a mono white noise, but I'm making it stereo, or I'm sending it into a stereo reverb. So this is where it's going to be. How? Well, it's really easy. You just go here and click stereo. That easy. You want, okay, you want me to destroy my progress here? There we go. Let's make a stereo. Hold on. Hey, hold on. I've done that before. No, you're kidding me. I've done that before. Did they change that? Are you tricking me, Will? You're tricking me. I'm getting trolled, guys. I'm getting trolled on my own channel. I'm here to help you. I was here to help you with your SD card question, and you're trolling me. Will, you're trolling me. Having the same problem. Okay, let's go back to your SD card problem. What did you say before? It seems to be hitting the same level, but I have to look into it a bit more. I've been trying to here's my playback and have to live channel hotter, so it can be level mismatch. Yeah, you could. Well, actually, if you, here's the thing. If you play back something and you change the trim on the alternate, first it's not going to stick to the alternate, and then it will mess up all your dynamic. I don't know why the output is so much louder. It's definitely louder, like sometimes you have to run your master 20 dB lower than you would. Don't know why it's doing that, but it's definitely not playing back at the same level. I'm gonna need to figure out a way to do that. I'm gonna need to figure out a way without dropping all my main level by, 20 dB, because it makes no sense when running in-ear monitors, when running anything. It just makes no sense. Let's go back to our channel here. All right, now that you tricked me enough into trying to make something that I thought was possible, or I'm pretty sure was possible, you can't. I don't know why this menu is here if you can't put that. Considering the oscillator, I'm not trolling. I'm kidding with you, man. Well, there's a way. If you really want to ask me, and you want to know how you can really make that a true stereo, there's a way. If you go to source, if you go to user signal and you go user patch, you can make a stereo source. And in there, I'm pretty sure that you can patch your oscillator. Are you trolling me again? You read my mind. You know I was going to do this. And you tricked me into thinking that I could do a true stereo pink noise. But wait. I'm not done yet. Hold on. Let's go mono. Can I assign a oscillator? No, I can't. But there is something that this console cannot prevent me to do. And I guess you didn't see that one coming. Hold on. I'm gonna need something that you, or I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it in a way that you don't expect. You want to do this? We're gonna crack the code. We're gonna break the rules. See that I have a single XLR? Let's go in the back of my console, and I don't have a camera to show you guys. Or actually I do, hold on. I have my phone. Where's my phone? I'm gonna fire up my phone. Give me 1 second. let me fire up my phone. I'm gonna show you guys a way to do a lot of things. Don't look at my messy studio. But here, look at that. We can even go into setup and give us some lights here. Surface. General patch. Hey, look at that. We have a way here to send signal to and from the console, from the AES3 out to the digital in. I bet you didn't see that one coming. And because I can do one-to-one, no, not bus. Bus is boring. We're gonna set up a source in the routing. I'm gonna go output. I'm gonna go AES EBU, and I can. Hey, look at that. I can patch that here, and I can patch that here. I just output the 2 into the AES EBU port, and we're gonna grab it back from the AES EBU port. I don't even need to do anything special. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go AES in. Where are they? AES EBU in. I'm gonna go here. We're gonna create that as a stereo source, and that's gonna give you. Well, you can see it on the EQ. Oh, hold on. Did I? Okay, I didn't show you guys. Hold on. Let me go back. I did source output. I went to AES EBU out. I went here and I patch my sub kick and my fake bottom into the AES EBU out. So I'm sending that out. And in my source, I'm grabbing it back in from AES EBU in as a stereo source. I'm putting that on a channel here, AES EBU in as a stereo source. That's the way to go. I used to do that the old school way, sending out analog out of console to do my oscillator trick. I used to take a Omni out on those Yamaha, put that into a channel next to the kick, and use, because on the M7CL you were only allowed to have the key being some of the input in block of 8 or 16, but not all of them. So if you put a kick, an empty channel, you took an Omni out with an oscillator like I'm doing here, sending it back in. Great way to do it. So now I can just destroy everything that we did here, because I don't need to have that at all. I'm gonna go into routing, and I'm also gonna take off or empty out my AES EBU. What else? That's it. That's pretty much all we did. But let's go back to my custom layer. I'm gonna DCA a couple stuff here. My oscillator is gonna be sent into a DCA, and I'm gonna put that one into DCA 1, that one into DCA 2. Let's go here. We're gonna config or DCA, and I'm gonna call this one. Oh no, that's the fader layer. Hold on, I'm at the wrong place. Where the DCA here. I want to select DCA 1. I want to call it DCA kick, because it's going to tell me that I have multiple of those here. DCA kick. Lights on, please. DCA DCA snare. It's probably all the DCA, or actually let's go crazy. DCA, or just drums for the rest of the drums. Close. And I want that to be lights on, green. Thank you. Do I need to have another DCA? Let's go with DCA 8. I'm gonna call it vocals. It's gonna be all my backup vocal. So VK, VX, vocal. There we go. Now I'm gonna build myself a custom layer. Those of you who never built a custom layer, you just press the button here, the user button one. You go view at the top of the console. It's gonna give you that screen that is almost blank. You go to config, and here you select basically what you want to have in here. So if I want to have channels, which I don't want to start with, you can have your bus. So let's say that you have all your reverbs. What we want to start with is DCA. I want to have my DCA kick, I want to have my DCA snare, and I want to have my drum. So I'm going to control my whole drum on 3 DCA. Speaking of, I need to go back in the DCA layer, DCA 3 view here, and I'm gonna put my, not my kick and my snare, but my hi-hat, my tom, my floor, my overhead, and my ride. I'm gonna put that all together in that DCA. We can close that. Let's go back to my user layer. So my kick, snare, my drums, and we're gonna finish up the config with channels. I want to have on my custom layer, I want to have my bass, I want to have my friend Simon's guitar, keyboard. I want to have maybe my back vocal DCA. Let's go back vocal DCA. So it's 8, so all my back vocal, and I have 4 channel left. I know we're gonna need to add a couple more channel in 19 and 20. We're gonna have a mono keyboard and a sax in here. I just talked to the guy yesterday of the band, and they wanted to have that, so we're gonna actually do that right now. Let's go back to channel. Let's go back to 19. We're gonna name that mono. Hey, okay. No, my bad. I'm thinking wrong. You're on a wing. You need to set up your source. So I'm gonna rename that. Actually, turn that into mono. Yes. Okay. Rename that. Mono key. And we're gonna have sax. Or I cannot say it. Saxophone. This is how you spell saxophone. Let's add a source to this channel. We want that to be a mono key, mono saxophone. I don't like the color. I like to have it name. I like to know color. This purple and this purple. All right. So we can put all our keys together in a DCA now, since we're gonna have a lot of keyboard input. We're gonna put that together into a DCA. Let's go back to our DCA. I'm selecting the DCA layer. Here, I call it all key. And in here, we want to have stereo keyboard, the mono key, and I'm gonna put my friend saxophone because the keyboard player is playing the sax, so whenever he's playing, he won't be able to hit the keys. So if I'm mixing just that DCA, I should be good. All right, let's go back to our user. We're gonna change a couple things here. We're gonna close that window. We're gonna select our user. We're not gonna have a keyboard, so we're gonna go into config. We're gonna ditch the keyboard. We're gonna replace that with an all keys DCA. So I'm gonna have my drum, my bass, my 2 guitar, my all keyboards, all my back vocal. I want to have in the last channel for sure my lead vocal. So it's gonna be my friend Simon. I want to have that in here. And what else do I need? I think I have everything. I can maybe try to put the delay bus and the reverb bus for the vocal in there, because this is something that I may manipulate a little bit. Hold on, what are you guys saying here? Hold on, I'm gonna take a break and read the chat. I'm not in that rush. Grayson said, I'm able to use 2 oscillator kind of left and right the best effect, and then I pass it to a user signal from there. I wanted to make a waterfall effect. Can I do that? You use white noise for the oscillator. I use it to help me relax working from home. It's gonna, yeah, this is definitely a way to do it. If you're using 2 can I do that? I can do that. Okay, can I do that? You can do that. Okay. Hey, hold on. Sorry if I read that wrong. Sometimes, actually, there's 2 things happening here. You guys probably don't see that, but let me bring you in. Let me bring you in for a second. You guys probably will understand why sometimes I read stuff wrong, and it's just to give you an idea of the behind the scene. That's this scene that this is the prompter that I'm looking at. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm gonna turn the ISO down way more than that. That's the lowest it will go. Okay, but that's an iPad. That's an old iPad being used on the prompter here. So when I look at the screen, it's kind of it looks bigger in real life than it does on the prompter. It looks big enough, but it's a little bit blurry because it's a mirror. It's a 110 mirror, and because when I'm reading something, it highlights it in green, and white on green is not the most contrasting that you can have. So this is why sometimes I'm having a hard time reading, and I gotta mix up things because English is my second language. Sometimes I'm try to read, process, and try to be in front of a camera all the time. So just to give you guys an idea, it's not I'm not gonna say forgive me. I'm just gonna say try to understand a little bit, if you can, my reality here. But you're able to do that. This is great. How do you do it? Do you make it oscillate, or is it oscillating in volume? Did you program an automation that will bring the volume up and down? It would be fun if we could do that on the wing. And excuse me if I have lunch here. I'm not gonna have time after the stream before I leave for my gig, so don't mind my muffin. All that to say, really good thing if it helps you relax at home. I'm all for that. People should be able to relax at home in between gigs, and if you can use your gear for that, more power to you. Okay, let's finish up this this page. Let me see here. I want to make sure that I don't forget anything, because I would really like to have this show, or run the full show, just on a single layer. All my kick, or my 2 kick and 2 snare input, all my drums, good, bass, guitars, all keyboard, all backup vocal, lead singer. I have pretty much everything that I need. Let's go in the effects section, or my bus section, and we're gonna start to drop down some stuff that I may need to access. So my vocal reverb, both of my vocal reverb, and my delay, and I think that's gonna do it. Merci beaucoup. Bon appétit. Thank you. It's crazy how good of a Costco muffin can be. When all you had is a coffee in the morning. That's pretty much it. I think that show file is ready. I'm gonna save that up. Library. Save. Overwrite. Confirm. There we go. All right. Now let's dive into something else. You guys probably know, if you've been following around, that I had a really hard time with my Hub 4 Pro this week, and now I have a couple answer to those questions. Talk to the guy at AVL. Thank you for helping me out. If anybody from AVL is listening, thank you so much for your help. And the 151 is not compatible to be used on the ports or the external ports of a Hub 4 Pro. It will work. The Hub 4 Pro will translate or convert 96K device to 48K device, but the fact that I don't have headamp or gain control is normal. Good. That said, now I have a DL8 connected to my Hub 4 Pro, and it's being powered by the Hub 4 Pro, so I'm running the PoE from there. The fact that I'm not getting the Hub or the DL8 is a problem, and it should be working. I don't know why. Maybe I'm doing something wrong here, but definitely there's a way to make that happen. I just need to figure out why, and we're probably gonna read manuals. Oh god, manuals. I'm gonna have to read a manual. I wish there would be a YouTube video about that, but apparently if I don't make one, nobody will. So let's dive into this. I'll bring you guys along. Hold on. This, and phone view. All right. So here's the unit I was talking about. This here is my Wing B port connected to that. DL8 is connected from the first port in here. I should see the device and have gain control. Let's take a look on the console, how things are going. Let me go to the routing menu, and we're gonna go to port B. I have my Hub 4 Pro here, but I don't have a gain. Maybe, hold on, maybe I play around with a couple things. Maybe I need to go back and disable some stuff. Remote, I can disable the remote and disable the sync in, because by default, when you start up a show, they're not. Let's see if it changed anything in here. Let's go back to A, or to B, I should say, and it's not showing. As far as I know, everything is full on, latest firmware for everything. Should be good to go. We're gonna try firing up the unit by holding the first port button. Hey Charlie, good to see you, man. We're gonna try that now. I'm not getting any better result, but I'm doing something wrong here, is my understanding. Someone told me, and I don't remember, but someone told me last week, is the Hub 4 Pro displaying in white or green? Now, the Hub 4 Pro displaying in white. I think it's Nick, but Nick is probably busy doing something else right now. Knocking over your screen, man. You still around? Because I think it's you who said that last week. Or a few days ago. Not last week, a few days ago. I think I'm gonna RTFM. I think I'm gonna RTFM, if you guys don't mind. We're just gonna quickly look at that. Hub 4 Pro. So yes, white or green exchange signal from AS to stage connects, I believe. Okay, we're gonna take a look at the manual, and we're gonna try to understand why. Because I believe it should be the default state, right? Let's dive into this. We're gonna go to documentation. Quick start guide. If anybody has any clue in the chat, feel free to share with the group. I have the PDF here. We're just going to open that up. Scroll to a language that I can understand. Okay, operating mode. The Hub 4 Pro can be started to work in 5 different modes. To switch between these modes, it's necessary to press and hold one of the front panel button during startup. So, the 4 mode. Firmware updates. Press and hold the stage connect to AS50 in. That's good. Activate clock master is the second large button. Port 1 to 4 AS50 in. Okay, no problem. Mode 1, 48K input. Press and hold the button 1. Mode 2, 96K, 48 channel input. So it's gonna have both A and B for that. And 96K 20 channel input is gonna be by holding button number 3. Mode 1 operate at a sample rate of 48K. Mode 2 and 3 operate at 96K with the internal high quality sample rate conversion enable integration of the DP48, DL32, DL16, and DL8 working at 48K with the Midas Pro Series or HD series, and those are working at 96K. So if I'm okay, if I read that correctly, I should start up the unit in mode 1, and it should give me access to that DL8. So I'm pressing down, powering it up. And I'm waiting. DL8 is on. DL8 is on. I do have a sync light on it, and as you can see on the console, nothing is happening. Okay, where do we go from here? Where do we go? I can try as a clock master. So if I let it be, I'm holding the 1 to 4, port 1 to 4. Clock master, it's probably gonna give me an error with the wing, but it's okay. I'm holding it. I had a green light at 48K, so port 1, 48K, and now it's all good. I'm probably getting an error because I'm not syncing from the port. We're gonna change that. We're gonna go into setup, audio, internal clock source, actually B. Hey, how you doing? Let's go back in the routing menu. I'm gonna go port B. We still see the Hub 4 Pro, but we don't see the DL8. Maybe I've done something wrong here. Because I should see it. Let me try to disconnect and reconnect it. But it should appear here somewhere. Because it's designed and it's been said in the manual to run that in mode 1. Not working. We're trying out Clockmaster. Not working. Let's change our clock back to internal. Let's go back to routing B. Well, it's giving it to me, but there's no reason. There's no device connected here. So we're gonna try just to fire up the Hub 4 Pro without holding anything. No, nothing pushed down. I have red light everywhere. Well, red light on the sync port. Now, after a while, I have AS50 1 to 4, port 1 to 4 to AS50 in white, and I have port 1 to 4, port 1 telling me that I have a device in here that is green. Why am I not getting anything? Why am I not seeing anything? Anybody got a clue? I'm gonna dive back into the manual. And I'm gonna go. Do I need to hold port 1 after a while? Oh, port 1 just turned to green now. I'm holding it down, turned to green. Is there anything happening on this side? No. I'm gonna try to unplug the DP48 or the DL8. And nothing is happening. Nothing. I have no gain control in here, and I don't see the Hub 4 Pro. Gonna try to hold on the port 1 to 4. Oh, you must be kidding me. Now it's all in green. Hold on. Hold on. Why? Now it's in green. Everything is in green. It's giving it on the console. Tell me where, how, and we're gonna try that again. I'm gonna fire it up. Nothing. I pressed nothing. I don't want it to be Clockmaster. I just want it to send that to me. Now it's firing back up again in green, and because it's fired back up in green, the DL8 is there. I don't know if I don't know. Should I be pissed? Should I? Please, can anyone explain me why this just happened to me? Why is there no... Okay, actually, I'm gonna be pissed. Why is there no documentation, or there's no explanation video on how to do this? Why I had to do this? It's not explained anywhere in the manual that I've read. Maybe I'm stupid here. Maybe I didn't read the manual. But why is there no comprehensive, quick guide information with this? I'm pissed, guys. I'm freaking pissed. This is working for sure. I can have gain control, and I see you guys saw the static moving out of the preamp here, because the way that the Midas preamps are working, they do operate with typical different gain stage. So when you're doing this, there's a little bit of static energy in those function, and now it's gone because they all send that energy to ground. But yeah, I'm pissed. I'm really... Lack of information on each device is a little bit strange, if you ask me. But now that everything's green, everything's good. And now that I don't have a DL151, I'm still gonna try it next time and see if anything can happen, if we can figure out a way to make that happen. Because if you remember correctly, the last time that I connected the 151, I did some weirdo connection, doubling the port using the Bucks at 96K with conversion. I don't know if I'm using this at 96K. Actually, let's try, just for fun. Let me try to use mode 2. I'm gonna fire it up in mode 2, which is 2 times 96K. No, actually, I want mode 3. I want mode 3. Let's go in mode 3. And wait. 24 channel 96K. The device see something if I'm holding it. Is it gonna turn green if I'm holding port 1 to 4? No, because it's not locking. But if I'm doing this, if I connect my console to port 2, it should sync because it now acts as a conversion unit. No, it doesn't, but it was working with a 151 the other day, where I connected the 151 in port 1 as a clock master. Maybe that's the reason why. I connected that as a clock master in port 1. It was giving me 96K. I was able to convert that down to 48K. I was passing signal. That was not the issue. I was passing signal. I had microphone connected to these. They were fine. The only thing I didn't have was head-amp control or gain control coming from the Hub 4 Pro. Connecting a wing to the port B and from port A, having a 96K device. Could have been a console. That would have worked. So we're gonna need to dive a little more into that in the future. It's 1:05. We've been going at this for an hour. The positive of this live stream, I have a show file that is ready. We're gonna have a good time with this. I'm gonna do my sound check with all my different input, and once I'm ready to mix, I'm just gonna switch into user 1 and we'll be good to go. I'm gonna use this as a reminder for myself and you guys to always make sure that when you have DCA to put them up before you do your sound check. That way when you try to do your gain stuff and you raise a fader, it's going to some places. So all right, something also worth mentioning, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna mute all my channel here before I save my show file. Always a good practice, something to be that is good, a good practice to mute your show file before you save them. So if you recall them, everything is going to be mute and you won't have, let's say, feedback or any surprise there. So I'm just going to go here, we're going to go save, confirm. Thank you very much for being part of this live stream. Thank you for struggling with me, and I hope you find some joy in seeing me struggling with ghosting, and I hope you'll learn something. Until the next one, I want you guys to have a great week. I'm out for a show. I'm out to have a good time. See you guys later.